My first guest tonight, among the lawmakers who will be questioning Mrs. Clinton in tomorrow's Benghazi Select Committee hearing. Joining us tonight is Congressman Mike Pompeo. He's a member of the Benghazi Select Committee. He also serves on House Intelligence and Energy Committees. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Thank you, Lou. It's great to be with you.
Let's start with the focus of the hearing tomorrow. What will be your thrust? Many have suggested that the fact that the administration pushed for so long the idea that Benghazi was caused by an offensive video for days, in fact, in weeks, when they themselves knew it wasn't true. Will that be pertinent? What will be the thrust?
So we'll certainly ask questions with respect to how on earth it was this administration told the American people for so long a story that has now turned out to be, by all accounts, not correct, that in fact this was a terrorist attack conducted by an al-Qaeda affiliate. So we'll certainly ask about what Secretary Clinton knew and how she came to know it and why it was the case that this didn't get corrected more quickly. But we've also got two other primary missions, which is we still haven't held anyone accountable inside of the United States government for the death of 4 Americans. I'm reminded of the families of those 4 every time I turn back to my work here on this committee. We want to get answers for them as well. We have to understand how it was the case on this special day, the anniversary of 9/11, that in such a dangerous place like Benghazi, Libya, we had security that was so woefully inadequate that we could have our first ambassador killed since 1979.
Let me turn to those 1,300 pages of emails that from Ambassador Chris Stevens that were turned over to the committee just yesterday. The fact that this has been going on for about 3 years, and you're only now getting these emails, I mean, that's outrageous, is it not?
It's outrageous, Lou. I can go one better. Within the last hour, I learned that this evening we received an additional 900 pages of emails. So we received 1,300 yesterday afternoon, about 1, and about 900 tonight. I learned it at 6. It may have been 5, all connected to the events around Benghazi and emails that were from the senior-most person, Ambassador Stevens, the senior-most person on the ground in Benghazi, Libya. It is outrageous, not to this committee, but to the American people, that we didn't have access to those emails in a way that we could present the facts and ask questions both tomorrow and for all the interviews we've done before with that information in our hands.
2,200 emails in total delivered over the course of the past 36 hours to the committee. Now, obviously, this is, I would assume you would characterize it as stonewalling on the part of the administration, and it is something more, frankly, I don't know if I should say more offensive, but equally offensive, and that is an insult to the committee. It is, frankly, a slap in the face of the committee, sort of suggesting you don't. Here it is now. What are you going to do about it? How do you react?
Yes, sir, I agree. I'm less worried about the insult to the committee than I am the obstruction that it demonstrates with respect to the project that we've undertaken, which I think is fundamentally important to the American people and to keeping those folks. We still have folks. We have folks, Lou, today who are out on freedom's frontier in the edge in dangerous places, and to understand how we can reduce the risk that this could ever happen again, we need to understand what Ambassador Stevens was experiencing. So the fact that we received those 2,200 pages of emails in the last couple days, which are not yet complete, we've not been told we have all of them, I just find it sad and disturbing and inappropriate.
That was going to be my next question, is are we now confident that you have them all? You've answered that. Let me turn to the issue of the new speaker. There's every indication that the conservatives and the rank and the file members in the House of Representatives are going to go with Congressman Paul Ryan as the speaker, who's demanded all sorts of things. Do we have that list of demands from the speaker? I guess we don't have, but amongst other things, the parliamentary maneuver of vacating the chair, which gives the House the ability to fire their speaker. Demanding that he not travel, that he works 4 days, he said, in Washington, and he wants to be home 3 days a week with his family. I mean, and that he will have sole power of appointment. I mean, this seems the reverse of everything the conservatives certainly have been calling for in a speaker.
Lou, I consider myself one of those conservatives. I certainly consider myself part of that important movement for America. I've had a chance to listen to Paul even after the remarks that he made last night to our conference. I actually have interpreted what he said to be a little bit different from that.
Well, help us out.
I think he does want to devolve power and spread authority amongst the members so that we can have a bottoms-up, committee-based organization that leads the way the American people are demanding that we lead. The grassroots is screaming for us to get that right. And I think Chairman Ryan understands that. He's prepared to do it. With respect to the motion to vacate, I think he's prepared to make a few changes in that such that it's not just a single member. I think there's a way that we can both hold our Speaker accountable and allow our Speaker the room to operate and lead in the way that I'm confident that Paul Ryan can do.
You're a sophisticated politician as well as an effective and successful public servant. You know how this is going to look to the electorate. That right now have a very low estimation of both the Senate and the House, when it looks like, to them, at least at this point, you guys have rolled over, and that the establishment will maintain its fealty to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, to the Business Roundtable, and the powerful lobbyists of K Street, and they will still be pulling all of the strings in the Speaker's office.
You know, Lou, much like the Benghazi committee has been criticized from the outside, I always turn to deeds, not words. I'm very hopeful that a Speaker Ryan would not behave that way, that we would break some glass and we would do the things that the American people said. I came into the class of 2010, do the things that we committed to do in 2010 and move this country back in the right direction. Paul is a conviction conservative. I expect that he will lead that way.
What is his ranking as a conservative? Because the last ranking I saw, the last grade was an F. And I'm astonished when people say that he's a conservative, because I can't find a conservative, in that seat that he occupies, whether it be his chair in the Ways and Means or whether it be Speaker of the House. Congressman, always good to have you with us.
Thank you, Lou. Have a great evening.
You too, and good luck tomorrow. Congressman
Thank you, sir.
Mike Pompeo.